unveiling some of the infrastructure he's trying to put in place for the Nigerian defense. And one of it was in Asokoro yesterday, where actually commissioned a new barrack that was completed. And also there was display of some of the artilleries of the Nigerian army to further tell the president that, look, we can actually achieve most of the things we are requesting from those people outside the country.
I think that is what the president is trying to do, because if you look at with all he has done so far with the Gwarimpa Polytechnic, you could see that actually he mean what he said, because he said he come with a renewed hope, and what he's bringing on board is actually going to make a lot of difference to the country.
I'm happy you mentioned that of Gwarimpa Polytechnic. It's a very good one. So many residents of the Federal Capital Territory will be happy to see that, yes, there is a polytechnic, because other states have actually benefited from this intervention by the federal government. Why not the FCT? And I can see you also have a huge interest in this, because it's resident within Abuja Municipal Area Council.
Very well, very well.
Well, these are critical issues, and but then the beautiful aspect of it all is that everybody will definitely benefit from it. And but one of my own observation, which may not actually be in tandem with your own interest, is that Gwarimpa is almost shocked up.
No.
I understand there are schools.
Gwarimpa is a big city. Gwarimpa is a big city. It's just that maybe you've not got into that axis like the Kasana axis.
I've been to Kasana axis.
Okay, but that place is massive. Gwarimpa is so massive that with that university, we have like about all the army estates are there.
Okay.
Yeah, so with that formation coming in there, it will be a lot of safer.
Okay, now I understand the demarcations. I can see if you are going through the Lugbe axis, all the way inside is part of Amak.
Yes, please.
And if you are going through the Kubwa axis, all the way inside by the left from here is okay. And I can now see why Amak is actually taking the major chunk in the FCT. And the one other issue that has actually been trending for some time now is the issue of the former president going to Paris to defend the country with respect to Sony company, with respect to the $6 billion intervention for the Mambila project. And then we can now see that while they are actually doing that defense outside the country, the EFC is actually also doing a major crackdown on how the former Minister of Power, Salim Ahmad, was able to take out is it 6 billion? Just a very huge amount, about 33 point something, 33.8 billion out of the coffers of the ministry. And when I was reading this some days back, looking at the trend of exchange, it also brings us to one particular question: for how long?
Yes, you see, it's that what we are having today is like we have people in leadership who have no conscience. Because for somebody like that who is given the opportunity to serve his country, and then you go about taking that huge amount of money, that's why we've been having this epileptic situation with our electricity. Though a lot of politics is in the power sector, but notwithstanding with what he has done so far, we've not had anything like that with any minister in that sector. But he did a very wrong one for going all the way. If you look at the way he go about that embezzlement, it's so uncalled for. It's a shame for a leader of his type. So what is he going to leave for his children and his children's children? What will they call what would they call their father tomorrow? So what we're saying is, if you are given that opportunity to serve your country, you should do it with a lot of decorum, because posterity will always speak for us.
You know, the minister was actually sacked. The former minister, Salim Ahmad, was sacked by Buhari because of issues on this particular issue of corruption. And when you look at it, somebody raised a very major issue yesterday, a statement saying that the president, actually former President Muhammadu Buhari, didn't actually do well by not actually supervising his ministers. You know, if you remember, during his tenure, many of us have actually questioned how he followed up with some of the responsibilities he has been able to shun out. And that has actually been the major problem he faced, because look at the issue of Emefiele. Under your leadership, you had a CBN governor who was just in charge.
In charge of everything.
And then he decides the forged signatories
Yes,
and all.
yes.
Look at the allegations, so much, so many. And you look at that of the issue of the Attorney General also coming in. And I remember, if you remember, just recently some ministers of this particular cabinet went to pay him visit. And I think one of the key persons that was there was the Attorney General of the Federation.
Yeah, but what I felt was, though they didn't explain to Nigerians why that visit, but to me, I think the visit is to give him that letter of invitation from Paris.
To actually
Yes,
inform
to
him
inform
of
him.
what is happening.
But a lot of people were looking at it
From
other
the
way.
political angle
Yes,
and
but
the rest.
for me, I felt this is just the purpose of him visiting Daura. It's just to go and inform him that, sir, there's an invite coming from a social place. Can you just do us a favor and then grace that occasion? So I think they've given him that respect, and then he quietly went there. So the rest is we're going to hear how it all turns out.
And apart from the issue of Salim Mamman, the Minister of Power during President Olusegun Obasanjo era is also facing
Yes,
his own charges.
yes.
And I think the problem started from that particular point.
Oh, that is where the issue came
Yes,
up
that
from.
was how the problem
Because
started.
I remember like the Shiroro power
Station,
Yes, you know, what they discovered is that when the EFCC got there, they only discovered it was just pillars that was just erected. There was nothing to show for that power. So it's like all the people that came in through the ministry, they were all faulty, and they are all after what they will gain, not what they will give out to the country.
And then just yesterday, there was this trending flyer, or is it an invite or a public notice, that the former president, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, would actually be launching his memo. And that has actually called, if you look at the dignitaries that are invited. In short, what actually drew my attention when I saw that memo was, when I saw that publicity, was the bottom of it. And in that bottom, I saw Donald Duke as those people in charge of
The
rice and
co-chairs,
stew.
yes.
No, they are in charge of rice and stew very plenty. RSVP.
No, but you know Donald Duke.
So you look at it as in, that tells you the caliber of person the former president is. Looking at because I saw it, that particular flyer was President Olusegun Obasanjo.
Yeah, Kaki, he's just a gentle general. He's somebody that know how, even when he's dealing with you, he always do it calmly. You know, the way he's really Maradona. He's somebody that know how to play the game, and actually he played it to an extent, because you cannot even point anything to him even right now. He played his game very well. So that's why I see that book, is it a book launch or his what, is going to draw a lot of attention, because most of these people give him a lot of respect.
And one key aspect, still on, let us delve into the security aspect now. We've seen the effort being put by the Chief of Defense Staff and the soldiers on ground, the Chief of Army Staff, the Air Staff, the Naval, and the rest. We are seeing a very good fight against the bandits in the Northwest. And we've seen that, yes, they've been able to neutralize so many of them over the week. So many of them were neutralized. And Nigerians are actually giving them thumb up with respect to what they are doing and to defend the nation. Earlier this, late last year, we had the issue of the Lakurawas, if you remember. But now nobody's talking about Lakurawas.
Yes.
Are you hearing from them?
No, maybe they travel out to somewhere around Niger.
But I was actually informed also that Niger is actually facing some issues, most especially with the issue of Boko Haram. Is actually taking a very huge toll in their locality.
No, you see, that's why we've been calling on the should we say the administrator, in the person of it's Annie. Is it Annie or something like that? You see, when he was making those
General Chani,
allegations,
yeah.
when he was making all those allegations against Nigerian president, people were calling him to order, like, okay, these are your neighbors, these are some of your families, and then you should be able to trade with caution. It's not everything that you just bring out to the table because you are angry. Definitely, a civilian president will not be happy having a general as a dictator as his neighbor. You get the point. So, Tinubu, who is someone we know that fought during the 90s, he fought the generals, he fought dictatorship in this country. It's just that God kept him for this moment. But Tinubu is someone that speaks truth to power when he was out there on the street. So he will not be just be happy to have Tiani as his neighbor, as a president, being a dictator. So we are calling on him to tread with caution, and also he should look at, because what you discover from the previous games they have, the African Army Games, that is where I discovered that, yes, the Chief of Defense Staff is somebody that understands leadership. He's somebody that knows how to move with everybody. Because if you see, he took everybody, both the paramilitary and all that, they were all in the game. And it makes a lot of difference. So I want to believe that we're going to see this 4 years, we're going to see a lot of change in our security.
And on a very sad note, Nigeria lost General J.T. Hussaini, dies at 82. J.T. Hussaini is well known for his gallantry, and just a few days after remembering the Armed Forces Day, when Nigeria marked the Armed Forces Day, we now have this sad note. Not a very good one for many. But then, who are we to question our Lord?
So, you know, he's somebody that he really worked in Abuja. As a minister, he served very well. I think before El Rufai came, he was one minister that did very well on his kaki. So we pray for his family and for everyone that may his soul rest in peace.
Amen. And looking forward to what is happening in the FCT, the minister commissioned some strategic roads in the FCT, and those roads are now put into use. And many Nigerians are actually happy. For those who have not visited the FCT before, you can see the transition of developmental roads coming up. And if you look at what is happening at Gishuri Junction, or the popular Nikon Junction, you see the bridge that is being built in that particular junction. You can see how fast they are moving with the work. And people don't actually know. They thought maybe it will only take them to the Professor Wole Soyinka Expressway in Katampe. No, that road extends beyond that. If you go to this junction between Gwarimpa and Kado axis or Jai axis, a bridge is actually being built in that particular area, and that bridge is just like a flyover that will actually take you from Jai into Gwarimpa, and there's a road that links you down. All those roads are being constructed as I speak. So the honorable minister of FCT, Barrister Nyesom Wike, is actually doing a very good job, and many Nigerians or many residents of the FCT are applauding him. If we had had the opportunity the last 8 years before him, if we had had the former minister doing, if he had actually carried out some of these projects successfully, we wouldn't be shouting. It would have become more easier for you to navigate the FCT. The water project is started till this moment. We don't know how far it is. Everything seems to be. We were not happy with the kind of achievement he had. The former minister, we expected that, yes, for him to have had the grace of having stayed there for 8 years, there should be a major change in the FCT. Within a span of 1 year plus, we are now seeing a Wike turning the tides in FCT.
No, you see, there's something about administration. Wike is an administrator, and then you can see what he has done so far in Port Harcourt before coming in Abuja. And then the gentleman that left, Abakar, I think, Abakar is not an administrator. If you should look at his profile, He's not somebody that have worked in any of the administrations, but he was just given opportunity due to the relationship he had with the president. And that should not be the kind of things we see in this country. It has happened so far, and in so many ways. You see a lot of things happening like that. You just bring Abraham into your government because you feel Abraham is your friend, Abraham campaigned for you. No, that should not be the case. You should give me position because you know that I can be in that position and do the work.
You know, politicians always they think about the next election here in Africa,
but it's not too good
which
for
which
us.
is not actually good. You look at the quality. Yes, there are better ways you can compensate those who actually canvassed for you to win the election. There are better ways you can do that, because if you look at what the way we are fashioned, we run a democracy of just 4 years, maximum 2 years, two tenure. And if you don't win this one, you are planning to win the next one. And if you have won this one, you are planning to get re-election into that particular office. So that's why you see they bring in some of these politicians or some of these friends and the rest, because not that they can do the job in terms of making a championing case for the nation. But then it's a good one that the FCT minister, Barrister Nyesom Wike, is actually doing a very good job here in the FCT, and we hope it continues. It shouldn't end just within the the central area or Amak or Buhari. No, it should go as far as Abaji.
No,
and I'm happy he commissioned
yes,
some road, and he's also opening some new places. I can see Kashi is actually moving very fast.
Very well, very well. You see, like if you go to Kuje, for the first time, you could see that road that was just left to the correctional center is an eyesore for you to see that kind of a road on a place like that. But you see, he went there and he's doing a very massive job there. You go to you said about Gishiri, Gwarimpa, and Kubwa. Then you go to Kwali. Look at Kwali. You know, before we don't look at Kwali as a part of FCT.
Yes.
But when he came in, he went straight to Kwali. There's a road that led to the woman that was on that 29 road. At that very vicinity where she is. Do you know that he had to okay, look, I need to fix this thing. I need to make sure that this woman who is making name, who is on Ladi Kwali,
he went to, yes,
all we have. Yes, so he went to that hall where she was doing her trade. He had to put it in order for the youth in that area to continue in that trade. He went to most of the schools, because what he does is not just on the infrastructure alone. You could see that he go to rehabilitate school for those who are actually having a special need, like the deaf, the blind school. You see, so that is the kind of leadership we are looking for in this country. You get.
Okay. Thank you so much, Abraham, and that's a very good one for us to have a better view of what actually happened within the week, and so much definitely is what we are expecting today. And as we climax this particular week on this beautiful Friday, we'll be discussing the issue surrounding the alleged 33.8 billion naira fraud, and how the Federal Ministry of Power, there's a ministry now involved. The minister of that particular ministry, the former minister, Salim Mamman, was actually sacked by the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, is on the guillotine now, and is being investigated thoroughly by the Economic Financial Crimes Commission. Our expectation is that we are going to have the head of media and publicity, but then he couldn't make it to the program, and he apologized for that. But then still we'll be discussing some of it, some of the issues, because we started this conversation with him recently when he was he partook in this particular program, the P&B Morning Show. So we'll go on a very short break. When we return, we'll start up with a conversation. Welcome back from that mouth break. And just before the break, we had some tidbits regarding the happenings in the country. And my co-anchor here, definitely Abba Abraham, discussed so much on some of the issues, some of the topical conversation we had over the week. And so much will be discussed now with respect to how people elected, people appointed, are actually squandering our money. How do we get back this money? And that is a major reason why the EFCC was set up in 2004 by the then president, former president Olusegun Obasanjo. The issue of corruption has been a major issue. The issue of corruption has actually taken us so much back. So how do we retrieve ourselves and then move? If we continue this way, are we going to succeed in terms of the developmental indices that we have globally? So, Mr. Abraham Abba, so much had actually happened in the past, and so much is happening, because the truth is that it is when one president leaves, another president comes in, you discover that there was wrath in that particular leadership. Look at the discovery made by the EFCC and what we were able to retrieve alone for Emefiele. But let us look at this. Alleged 33.8 billion naira fraud. How I received more than 22 billion from Federal Ministry of Power BDC operator. Look at that headline. How do you feel as Nigerian with all the challenges we faced?
No, you
and
see,
you have
and,
this
and,
particular
and that's why
as an
you
headline.
see, that's why sometimes you now look at it that some people have no conscience. I get it, because if you have conscience, we made an analysis of 1 billion naira. Do you know that 1 billion naira, if you're giving 1 billion naira as a person with your family, that every day you don't cook in your house, every day you spend 1 million naira. Yeah? 1 million naira.
Let me not start
every day.
thinking about that money
No,
now.
now that well, let's analyze it now. So,
Well,
so if you are to spend 1 million, it would take you 10 years to finish 1 billion, and one man will sit on 100, 300. You know, that's to tell you the kind of hearts the Nigerian people have. Some, because it's not everybody that have that kind of heart. I listened to the former Senate President, Wabara. Wabara was challenging Wike because Wike tried to confront him, and he said, Wike, I am one person that will hit my chest to say, I have no any issue to do with EFCC. I have not been invited for anything. These are the kind of leadership we want to see.
Adolphus
Yes,
Wabara.
he said, go and check my record book. I have been in the Senate, I have served in the Senate, and you cannot place anything corruption on me. But what we have today is we have people with small minds. We have poverty that is poverty mentality.
Yes.
Because if you are not poor, you should not be thinking of, okay,
I'm having this huge amount of money.
I know I'm not going to stay in this position forever, and let me get this thing. For how long will you do it? You get the point. At the end of the day, look at the former executives you have. All of them will go for plea bargain because of this kind of little mindset. You don't think of how you should be remembered. I was reading a quote, and they said some people think it's only what your family your father leave for you for inheritance, as money, as property that matters.
Yeah.
He said that is not inheritance. Inheritance is
what legacy?
What legacy that your son should say?
The legacy your
yes,
father left is actually
yes.
the inheritance.
So I should be able to go to the street where my father lives when he was a young man like me, and people will say, wow, this is the son of Unaji. What your dad did 1900 is what is going with you. He didn't leave anything, but he left a name. These are the kind of things we want to see with our executives. This is what we want to see with people who are given opportunity to serve. Because this is opportunity. We have 400 and something million Nigeria, or 200 and something Nigerians, and you are picked out of this number of people to serve your country, and you don't have conscience. Is it not a shame that a minister who is a former minister will take that huge amount of money? And look at how he was just, when I was going through the way he was sharing the money and the number of people that were he was using as cronies to do this kind of embezzlement, I felt so bad. And I felt, okay, are we really ready to fight corruption in this country?
And that is why we raised this particular question always. When we complain that the devaluation of our naira is not just it, the truth is that, just like we've rightly stated here in the studio, that the reason why we actually have a devalued naira is because of the way our governors, our ministers, our members of House of Representatives, the legislators, the executive, the judiciary, how they convert our money into dollar. That way it further weakens the naira. And that way it makes it difficult for us as citizens to actually do what we need to do. Now, you can imagine, somebody make an analysis the other day. He said, in 1980, for you to be able to save naira to get the dollar, it won't take you in just 1 to 2, 3 days. You can save 1 naira, 2 naira, 3 naira, because the equivalent is not much. But for you to get $1 now, you have to save 1 naira every day for 4 years.
Very much.
Because $1 is roughly around 1,600.
Yes, 1,600.
1,600 naira. And in a year, you have 366 days. Isn't it? Now, multiply that by 4. That will give you $1. For you to get $1, you have to save 1 naira every day. That is 365 naira. You've not gotten quarter of the dollar. So you can see how bad the system is. When we talk about corruption, we say it is very, very bad. It has affected our system. Those responsible to see that, yes, this issue of corruption is reduced to the barest minimum should please take charge of this particular issue. Now, this critical aspect of it that Abraham raised is very, very important, in the sense that when you look at the way those appointed into power are actually squandering our wealth, it tells you that we are having a serious case of our justice system. I will always state it, that the justice system in Nigeria is very, very poor. You cannot steal that kind of money and be seeking. You even have the mindset to say you are going for a plea bargain. Has it become business to steal?
That's why when we invited the EFCC spokesperson, and I said, okay, with all this thing you're doing, if you still give a thief, because I call them thieves, we don't have anything to call people that embezzle the commonwealth, money that you're supposed to use to serve your people, money that you're supposed to use to build road, to put up infrastructure, and then you keep it in your own coffers. You keep it, and you went ahead to call a BDC to come and change it for you into a foreign dollar, a foreign currency. That is to tell you the mindset of the people that we campaign for, the people that we go out there to speak good of. And at the end of the day, instead of them to give it back to us, like, okay, these people campaign for me. One of the questions I ask is this: are these people not going back to check their campaign videos, their campaign registry? Okay, we promised the people of Isa local government that we're going to give them pipe-borne water. I promised them during the campaign that Isa and his family, they're going to eat 3 square meals. Perfectly and okay. I promise the people of Otukpo, where I'm coming from, that I'm going to give them a road. Do you know that for more than 10, since we started this democracy, if you should come from Benue to Otukpo, the road is as bad as anything. That is so. Anytime I got to that exit, I was like, are we out of Nigeria? Are we not part of Nigeria? And we have a president of the Senate that was there. We have plenty of
the longest Senate president.
Yes, so and you finish all your years, and you could not say, okay, let me just mobilize or let me put up something. These are the kind of politicians we have. The politicians that are after their own circle, their circle of friends, their circle of relations, and they forget that these are the people that brought you to power. People brought you there. And that's why I see sometimes when people talk about El-Rufai, I say, no, even when you want to call him with a bad name, El-Rufai did some good job. Go to Zaria. I'm brought up in Zaria. Go to Zaria and see the way he changed the narratives of Zaria. Go and see what happened in Zaria. These are the kind of leadership.
In Zaria, in Kaduna, in
Yes.
Kafanchan,
Yes.
those roads, the linkages, the infrastructure he put on ground, very superb.
Oh, that's why I said these are the kind of people we're looking for. It's not that you finish your 8 years, you finish your 4 years as a minister, there's nothing. Look at the power sector now. And this man took 33 billion.
Mind you, he's from Taraba State,
on.
the same state where Mambila
Power
Station is. Now, if you look at that's why every day we want to appreciate Nigerian journalists for what they are doing. Every day you go out there as a journalist to actually follow up some of this matter. And one key aspect, if you don't forget, it was a foreign media that actually unveiled what happened in Mambila Plateau. I remember him, I know him. A very young guy with BBC, working for BBC.
Okay.
He's actually from Adamawa State. He married recently.
Wow.
And when he made that revelation of what happened in Mambila Plateau, few days after we met, and he said, Issa, forget what they discuss in Abuja. Forget all those things you see on air and the rest of it like that. If we, as journalists, can actually investigate how the budget is being implemented, I'm telling you, you will shed tears for this nation.
Yeah, but the issue is that, just the way I told you, I said, this whole embezzlement in the power sector and other sectors is not done today. It started from Obasanjo. Look at the Shiroro power station. Yeah. Go and look at it. Nothing is done there. So you see, these are the kind of people we have in governance. These are the kind of people that you say, okay, come and help me, let's build this thing. Come and help me, let's work this thing out. But what you discover is people just come there just for their own pocket, for their own selfish interest. And now you tell me that what is the use of calling these people? So, is it not better you have like the PAMSEC to continue doing their things and then having a minister?
But if you dig deeper, you discover that some of these people is just that, unfortunately for him, let me say, well, fortunate for us Nigerians and unfortunately for him, that he was caught red-handed with this particular issue. And I was happy that the former president actually sacked him because of issues like this. And I think there are so much that needs to be unveiled. The former Attorney General of the Federation has so much question to actually answer with.
Yes, he and the former EFCC guy. He and the former EFCC guy.
But let us look at this particular statement. According to the Business Today, what they wrote was that, according to the eyewitness that was gotten, that the EFCC presented in the court, the person that actually changed this particular money,
BDC guy.
He said the witness, PW8 Abdullah Suleiman, a bureau de change operator, narrated how more than 22 billion naira was allegedly siphoned from the Federal Ministry of Power was minister. And the funny thing was that this person that was able to do this dirty job had 12 accounts.
Yes, 12. 12 accounts.
And this account receives money in billions of naira.
And
then I start questioning myself. Yes, EFC got winked of this. But the truth is that, don't we have the National Financial Intelligence?
That the moment you get money to your account, they have, is this Kumo they call it or what? The fact that you have SUML or something. They said the moment, if you're having a company account, the moment from 1 million naira drop to that account, they start following it up. So what happened that for this kind of money to keep dropping in this number of accounts, you cannot trace it, and you are telling Nigerians that you are ready? That's why I say most of the governors said they should scrap. I'm happy
you raised the issue of the former EFCC boss, and you also look at the chain of this particular reaction. We had, and allegedly, it was one of the most corrupt CBN governor. He should be aware of this transaction. We had an EFCC boss who actually, when the president came in, so
okay,
much happened.
it was when the president came in that I brought it.
No. Bauer was there, and after Bauer there was an acting. And after the acting is the present one that we have there. But this thing happened under Bauer's leadership also, because he was the head of the anti-graft agency, the EFCC. It happened under the Attorney General, who had, where many Nigerians have actually, many reporters, not just reporters, no, let me not say reporters this time around. Many Nigerians have actually criticized the role the former Attorney General played in the country. Many said that he probably was not giving the best of advice to the president. But I'm happy that he's still there, he's still alive. So definitely, maybe with time, he will also tell his own part of the story. We cannot say that he was fully involved in all this, but then with time, I believe, because he actually paid visits to the former president. Almost the same time with the present Attorney General of
they were there together?
No, not together. At some point, almost at the same time, within a span of few days.
Well, I think the same issue happened with Adoke. When Adoke was there as the AGM, I remember when he left, immediately they picked him. But I don't know why this Malami person is still left on hot, because he need to go and answer a lot, because a lot of things happen in his own nose. You get the point?
Under his nose,
yes, under his nose, because most of the things that happen from that ministry, from the anti-graft agency, CBN, he is actively involved in those kind of...
Don't forget, the EFCC is under even the Minister of the Attorney General of the Federation.
Yes, so most of this thing, because I remember severally, when I get to that ministry, you will see... What you see is either you see the anti-graft boss come in there just to come. I don't know if he comes there for briefing or he comes there to pay homage to the minister. But you always see him running from the ministry to his office. So I don't know why on earth should we have this kind of people.
So we hope that Nigerians will pay more attention to these. Two things are actually happening. One is the case we are facing in Paris, of which the former president, President Bola Ahmed, President Muhammadu Buhari and Olusegun Obasanjo are actually there, part of those who are actually responding to questions that were raised by one of the companies that was involved in the 6 billion. Is it true hydropower, something like that has to do with the Mambila power plant, something like of that nature. And we also have down here where the EFC is actually cooking the former Minister of Power in person of Salim Ahmed.